Welcome to Breaking International News. I deserve 4 or 5 Nobels. Trump. Clinton's explosive comments on Netanyahu's KS. Israel is spreading terror in the Middle East. U.S. envoy blurts out. Massive attack in Iran. 5 Revolutionary Guards killed. This time, 5 missiles hit Israel, Iran. Israel spends $200 million a day to prevent Iranian attacks. I deserve 4 or 5 Nobels. Trump. U.S. President Donald Trump has said, I deserve to win the Nobel Peace Prize 4 or 5 times, but I'm not being given it because I'm not a liberal. The U.S. president claimed this in a recent speech. Republic World reports. Trump said, Nobels are not given to people like me. I have played a big role in Rwanda, Congo, Kosovo, and even reducing tensions between India and Pakistan. A few days before this comment, the Pakistani government nominated Trump for the 2026 Nobel Peace Prize, because they think that Trump has played an important diplomatic role in the India-Pakistan crisis. In a post on social media platform XA, formerly Twitter, Pakistan said, if it were not for the leadership and intervention of Mr. Trump, India-Pakistan would have gone to war. However, the Indian government has not said anything about this, but has already stated that it does not want any third-party mediation in Kashmir or the India-Pakistan issue. Trump had previously claimed that he had worked on many international peace initiatives, but his contribution was not recognized due to political reasons. The Nobel Committee will decide who will receive the 2026 Nobel Peace Prize. This committee reviews nominations from different countries around the world. Clinton's explosive comments on Netanyahu's KS. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton has made explosive comments on Israel's attack on Iran and the country's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's KS. He said that the Israeli Prime Minister has been wanting a war with Iran for a long time because through it he wants to stay in power forever. In his words, Netanyahu has been wanting a war with Iran for many years because it will allow him to stay in power for life. He has been in power for most of the last 20 years. Clinton made these comments in a recent interview on the popular U.S. television program The Daily Show. He also said that he has contacted President Donald Trump to defuse the ongoing Iran-Israel tensions. Clinton said, I have urged President Trump to try to de-escalate this conflict and end the ongoing killing of civilians. However, according to the former president, neither Netanyahu nor Trump want a full-scale regional war. However, in this situation, they are choosing a risky path where the main victims are ordinary people. Clinton said, we must stand by our allies, protect them. That is important. But engaging in secret or informal wars, where innocent civilians who are not involved in politics are the main victims, that cannot be a solution. The former president also said that the U.S. strategy in the Middle East should be to de-escalate the conflict and encourage a peaceful solution. It is worth noting that although the U.S. has not been directly involved in the Iran-Israel conflict so far, it has helped Israel counter Iranian missiles and continues to supply weapons. Source: Arab News. Israel is spreading terror in the Middle East, U.S. envoy blurts out. Amid the ongoing Iran-Israel conflict, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Dorothy Shea has come to the center of discussion with an explosive remark. In a speech to the UN Security Council on Friday, she inadvertently said, Israel is responsible for chaos, terror, and suffering in the Middle East. Al Jazeera reported. Her remark instantly created a sensation in the conference room and caught the attention of the media present. However, she immediately corrected her mistake and blamed Iran for the Israel-Iran conflict. She said that Tehran should have agreed to a deal to control its nuclear program. At the same time, she reiterated the U.S.'s support for Israel's actions against Iran's nuclear ambitions. However, intense discussions have already started in political circles surrounding this remark. Many analysts believe that this may be an expression of a secret attitude within the U.S. administration. Critics have long blamed Israel's policies for the rise of various militant groups in the Middle East and regional instability. International relations experts believe that such words from a U.S. diplomat are significant in such a situation. Incidentally, since June 13, Israel has been carrying out airstrikes targeting various locations in Iran, especially military and nuclear facilities. In response, Tehran has also launched ballistic missile and drone attacks on various Israeli targets, including Tel Aviv. According to Israeli official estimates, 25 people have been killed and more than 100 injured in the Iranian attacks so far. On the other hand, according to Iranian media, 639 people have been killed and more than 1,300 injured in the Israeli attacks in Iran so far. Massive attack in Iran. 5 Revolutionary Guards killed. 5 Revolutionary Guards were killed in an Israeli attack. Reuters reported this information, citing Iranian media. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard said that 5 of its members were killed in an Israeli attack on the city of Karamabad on Saturday, June 21st. The occupying forces carried out a massive attack on the city and demolished many structures. Earlier, 2 top commanders were reported to have been killed. The second-in-command of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, drone unit was also killed. After the head was killed, he took over and continued drone attacks on Israel. The Israeli army claimed that the new commander of the IRGC's unmanned aerial vehicle (UAV) unit had been killed. In a statement shared on social media, the Israeli army said that Air Force warplanes targeted the commander. The commander, known as Amin Pour-Jodki, was killed. The commander was overseeing the launch of hundreds of UAV drones from southwest Iran into Israel. In addition, on Saturday, June 21st, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said that Saeed Izzadi, commander of the Palestinian Corps of Iran's Quds Force, was killed in an attack on an apartment in the Iranian city of Qom. Announcing Izzadi's death, Katz added that Izzadi financed and armed Hamas in the October 7th massacre. His killing is a huge achievement for Israeli intelligence and the Air Force. Justice for the murders and kidnappings. Israel's long arm will reach all its enemies. This time, 5 missiles hit Israel, Iran. Iran has again launched ballistic missiles and drone attacks on military targets in various places in Israel. At least 10 missiles and several drones were used in the attack carried out early Saturday. Tehran claimed that several of them hit the center of Tel Aviv, avoiding air defense systems. Iranian state media reported that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, carried out a large-scale attack on military and supply bases inside Israeli-occupied territory. Sirens sounded in various cities, including Tel Aviv, during the attack, and the sound of explosions shook the areas. Israeli media Channel 12 and other sources reported that 5 of the 10 ballistic missiles launched from Iran were intercepted, but the remaining 5 hit their targets. One of the missiles hit the town of Helen, south of Tel Aviv, where a multi-story building caught fire and was severely damaged. Following Iran's counterattack, Israel has begun deploying a new air defense system called Lightning, which will be used primarily to counter drone attacks. Meanwhile, a report in the Jerusalem Post said that a week after the Israeli attack on Iran, there has been no unrest in Tehran. On the contrary, the Iranian leadership has become more assertive and powerful. The Iranian people have become more united in support of the government. It should be noted that Saturday's attack was Iran's 18th counterattack. These attacks indicate that Tehran is ready to maintain and increase pressure in the long term. Iran is going to continue to counterattack until its strategic goals are achieved. Israel spends $200 million a day to prevent Iranian attacks. Israel is facing an economic loss of about $200 million a day due to Iranian missile attacks. The Wall Street Journal and other Western and Israeli media outlets reported this information. The report said that a large part of this huge cost is spent on operating Israel's missile defense systems, which are constantly struggling to prevent Iranian attacks. Analysts said that Israel is spending about $200 million a day just to operate the defense system. Meanwhile, the economic impact of the Iranian attacks is already being seen in the occupied Palestinian cities. The Israeli newspaper Ma'ariv says that more than half of the shops in Tel Aviv have closed. The report said market areas are empty and quiet, and public life has come to a standstill. According to analysts, this financial pressure and the disruption to civilian life are increasing internal pressure on the Israeli government. The longer the situation lasts, the faster the damage increases. Incidentally, since June 13th, Israel has been carrying out airstrikes on various locations in Iran, especially targeting military and nuclear facilities. In response, Tehran has launched ballistic missile and drone attacks on various Israeli targets, including Tel Aviv. According to Israeli official estimates, 25 people have been killed and more than 100 injured in the Iranian attacks so far. On the other hand, according to Iranian media, 639 people have been killed and more than 1,300 injured in the Israeli attacks in Iran so far.